and welcome to the Energy Within podcast with Shalane and Catherine, where we talk about motherhood, womanhood, spirituality, and more.
On today's episode, we're going to be wrapping up our series about all of the divine feminine energies and introducing you to the concept of Sacred Femme, which is very exciting.
So exciting.
Yes.
It was like a turning point in our lives, and it only just happened.
But yeah, it's unlocked and opened up. Unlocked doors.
Many things.
Yes.
It was like all of these doors were closed within our energy, and now they're just like blasted open.
Yeah.
And we can just walk through whatever one we want.
It's very exciting.
It is very exciting.
So we're sharing it with you.
Here we are.
Conclusion.
Activation.
Thank
you.
Yes.
Sorry. Conclusion to the series. Activation of within.
Yeah. And with not without, but and outwardly. We are activating ourselves, activating each other, and offering
collectively.
And an invitation to you. Collectively, yes.
Collectively.
And an invitation to you to join us on a bigger scale.
Yeah.
Because this is very powerful shit that we're talking about.
Super powerful. Super powerful. Like I said, when we step into that door.
Yeah. And if you've
that's all I can explain.
If you've been following the last 3 episodes of this series, then you will know that just as with light and dark and wild, thank you, femme, it is already within you. It's not something you have to go out and really find. Nope. Sacred Femme is the culmination of all of those 3 things. Good word for me, culmination. Nice. And it is just the awakening, the invoking, and the embodiment of the balance.
Invoking.
Yeah, right?
I love that.
And it is the reconstruction, let's say, of the scale that we've been talking about, right? We've got our dark and our light and our wild in the middle. And it is kind of invoking your Sacred Femme is putting all of those together into one. So the wild can do her job, so the light and the dark can move you forward throughout your life and your everyday. Yeah. That is the message.
We're like this.
We're just
together.
Okay. So before we get into the hows and whys and what's and wheres of Sacred Femme, tell them how we got here, because you made the first step through the door.
Yes, I did take the first step through the door. One day I had this random small epiphany in my brain, and it was like, hey, I have these the big 3. So in astrology, there's the big 3. You've got your sun, your moon, and your rising sign, and those are basically the overall who you are in terms of astrology. So mine is, I have a Leo sun, I have a Sagittarius moon, and I have a Scorpio rising. And we were talking at some point, we were also discussing the femme stuff. So we were talking about divine femme, and then we were also in the background, behind the scenes stuff, we were talking about wild femme and light femme and dark femme.
Yeah. And
I just had this sudden realization that they all also clicked with my big 3 astrology. So my Leo sun is my light femme, my wild femme is my Sagittarius moon, and my dark femme is my Scorpio rising. And I was like, this is super cool. And I took it to Catherine, and we went on a deep dive on those topics. But then it was this is super cool, but we just felt that there was more to it. There was something there, but we didn't know what it was. And then we stumbled upon Sacred Femme. Yeah. Which is the all-encompassing aspect of all 3 of those.
Yeah. Just in the same way that so I'm an Aries, you are a Leo.
Yeah.
But so we are Aries and we are Leo, but we are more than that. We are also our moons. We are also our rising signs. And then all of the other placements make us up, because we are multifaceted beings. Human beings are multifaceted beings. And so this was okay, well, my original thought was we were either wounded femme or okay femme or divine femme. But there is a more to that.
Yeah. It always goes deeper. And I think that this is the more. I know that since we've been making these discoveries, doing these researches, having these conversations, that I have felt so much more at peace in my body, in my life.
I don't even really need to like think about it too much anymore. I've been like aligning my daily routines and schedules to like light and dark and wild the past couple of months now. And I almost don't have to think about it anymore.
It's like the energetic click.
Yeah.
Like it just like it clicked into place, and then yeah, you don't have to think about it because like your body just like understands what it's doing now, and your brain is like, oh yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. So
it did it.
my Aries is my wild. Is that correct?
Yes.
My Aries is my wild. My dark is my
Pisces.
My dark is my moon. Yeah, my emotions, and then my
Virgo.
Virgo is my light.
Yes.
Yes. So that's how it works in my body. So it's not the same between the two of us.
It's not your sun equals light.
Yeah.
It's not that
necessarily. It depends on who you are.
Depends on who you are.
So that was really exciting too for us to figure out.
Yeah.
And then we also know which parts of our personality, and we'll talk about this as we go through the episode, how to tap into different parts for sacred. But like once we figured that out, we can activate that in each other and we can bring it up. Like there's certain parts to like running this podcast, for example, when we sit here, we are activating different parts of our personality and not secluding the other parts or denying the other parts, but just like you need certain aspects of you to do certain things.
Yeah. There are pieces that are stronger at something than other pieces.
Yes.
Sort of a thing, right? Like if you have a tool belt and you need a hammer, you're not going to pull out a screwdriver. Yeah. You're going to get a hammer because that's its job.
Yeah, and you can take a screwdriver, turn it around, and bang on something with the end of the screwdriver.
But it's not going to be as efficient as a hammer.
Yeah. Yeah. But all the tools are...
Analogy.
I love an analogy. I love a metaphor. So yeah, so in that term, then, would that
Are we naming tools?
No.
Okay, that's where I thought I was going.
No, it's a little bit more silly than that. So would the tool belt be our sacred femme then? Like, put the sacred, like putting a crown on, right? Like, put the tool belt on. All right. It's like,
yeah, it would be.
Yeah.
And then you have a tool for light, dark, and wild.
Yeah. But that's not our main metaphor. Our main metaphor for this is the scales, as you will remember.
Yes.
From us talking about that in the last few episodes. But it's sometimes maybe you need a metaphor that works better for you. So if the tool belt works better for you,
you have a tool belt.
You can have a tool belt. What? See, now that you've said it, I'm like, what would the tools be?
No, it doesn't matter. Oh, but then I just think dark femme is definitely a hammer.
Definitely. That's exactly what I was gonna say. And then like wild would be an electric drill because she would go zoom.
I was thinking a tape measure.
Okay.
You know, like have you ever let go of a tape measure? It goes.
Okay, I align with that. So then light femme.
Flashlight. 3 tools, that's all you need.
I feel like you need more than that. You need a drill.
Obviously you need more than that.
So that's our personal history with the Sacred Femme energy.
Yeah.
Global, collective, communicative history is obviously the patriarchy is at fault for why we have lost our Sacred Femme, or why she has been disconnected, because she's not gone, she's within us.
Yeah.
So there were once upon a time in mythological olden day history times, there were people like Isis and Hecate and, you know, all of these goddesses, all of these revered regal women and entities, people who had sacred femininity on lock.
Yeah.
But as I've said in earlier episodes, and pretty much every episode forever, patriarchy was threatened by this because it's so powerful. Sacred femme is incredibly powerful. So they had to refract isn't the word, but like split it apart because it is easier to control people and it is easier to control energy when it's put into a box. And so whoever was maybe more aligned at a certain point, or maybe, you know, how we have different polarities with masculine and feminine. So if you have more of a light polarity or more of a wild polarity, then you were kind of put into these boxes and ostracized or used by community, by patriarchy in certain ways over time. And it became the way that the world worked. And we just kind of never broke out of it. If these conversations aren't had, nobody knows these kinds of things. So we're entering into this new era of remembering. There is so much talk about this, if you're in the right spaces, about these kind of things. Maybe not the exact conversation we're having, because our conversation is very unique to us, but the same kind of thing. You're going to hear these things talked about in different ways, and maybe there's some crossover. Maybe somebody says something that is aligned with what we're saying, or it's little bits here and there. But at the end of the day, we're really in an era of remembering who we are, where we came from, and identifying where things went wrong. And this is all about healing the split of those different fractures within our femininity.
It's about reclaiming your wild, owning your dark, and embracing your light, and just like being it to your core.
Yeah, when you say when you say mending, that's such like a powerful,
right,
idea, word to me.
Yeah,
like,
especially for Sacred Femme.
Yeah,
like it's never been gone. It's the pieces aren't lost, right? Like they're all within you. They're just a little broken, so you gotta find them and pick them up and glue them back together and feel it again.
Yeah. And our bodies, our souls are kind of like these vehicles, isn't the right word, but like vessels. Like we are to connect the energy back together. That's kind of like our purpose, so that we can go forth and inspire other people to do the same thing and change the fucking world. Like it's big. It's really, really big, but like we have to start here, and then we invite other people.
Yeah, exactly. You have to start within yourself.
Yeah. So, signs to register within yourself when you might be disconnected or blocked. When you're Sacred Femme, she's trying to do this action. She's trying to come back together. Mending, thank you. She's trying to mend herself, or you are trying to mend her, but there are blocks. There's something stopping us here. So if you are feeling fragmented or imbalanced or incomplete, that is a sign that something isn't right. Something isn't working, and you need to kind of like identify maybe where that's happening, so you can check in with your wild, your light, or your dark, wherever that block is happening. Because maybe light and wild, they good, but dark, she's sitting by herself, or something like that. So have like kind of conversations, identify, go back through the last 3 episodes and be like, okay, this is what's working, this isn't what's working, or maybe everybody's at like 60%. We just need that extra 40% to really bring everything up. So that's like a little homework assignment for you. And then feeling like you have to choose one, right? Like say you are really, really light focused. Okay, so then you're like, well, I have to be this. This is who I am. This is my identity. I can't be wild. I can't be dark. I can't, or vice versa, right? And so it's just like trying to find that balance between the three. And it's like bringing in those different aspects to try to find whatever your personal polarity is that will help get through the blocks and help you reconnect. So yeah, if you're experiencing self-doubt, if you have a need, a desire for external validation, these are signs that you're blocked, signs that you're imbalanced. If you're overly rigid, if balance, the idea of balance, if you, like me, if you hear that word and want to run for the fucking hills, that is a sign that you are imbalanced. And you need the balance. And then constantly feeling like you need to self-improve, like you're never going to hit whatever this impossible unknown thing is that you're trying to reach. It is Sacred Femme, yes.
Yeah, so that was something that I had done years back. I was just like constantly reading all these self-help books and constantly looking at people on Instagram who like had it all figured out, and like whatever tips and tricks they could give me, and I was just like absorbing everything I possibly could, because it didn't feel like it was like sitting, like it wasn't like registering or clicking. And yeah, I still felt that something was missing, so I kept searching and searching and searching. But actually what ended up working the best for me was just stopping all of that. I stopped reading self-help books like entirely. I don't scroll on Instagram like ever, really. I just like cut out all of that external stuff, and I'm choosing to just like listen within first. Before going out.
And that doesn't mean that we don't like do our research, we don't look to other things, and like, but when you can like hear this, like your higher self and the energy in the universe, and you're not bogged down with so much information, some of which is incredibly contradicting, then you can hear your truths a little bit better. And since we've made this discovery, I personally feel, I won't speak for you, but like I personally feel like this is what's been missing, and this is what is right.
Yeah, for sure. I've come to a lot of self conclusions about myself and how I was in the past, and how I don't want to be like that anymore, and how it has to do with all of my feminine energies and embracing the sacred femme, all of that stuff.
Yeah.
It feels more easily accessible almost.
Yeah.
Like logically, I know about it now, so like I can tune in and discern to it more so.
So, what does Sacred Femme feel like? It is very important first to note, to have that handbook, to know where we're going, right? Like, you know, when you enter into college, you're going to get a degree at the end of it. Hopefully, it feels good. What will getting the degree of Sacred Femme feel like? Stay with me here. I don't know. Just go with it. So, you will know that you've like achieved or mended your Sacred Femme when you feel confident. You have a deep knowing in yourself. You feel ease. Life is easeful. Easeful? Easeful?
Life is easy.
Sure. Yeah.
Life is filled with ease.
Flowy and connection and
yeah.
You are radiant. You feel balanced. Freedom is easily attainable for you, and just everything is flowy. That sounds really nice. Maybe you're triggered by that and it feels a little bit unattainable. Me too. But even since I've started in the last couple of months that we've been doing this research and talking about this stuff, like I said, I feel so much more aligned with those things. And yeah, capable of, and like they're realistic and attainable. So how to do it, how to integrate it. So we are reclaiming and we are reuniting the 3 pillars, sisters, pieces of the scale. Yeah. And so like one of the main steps to doing that is identifying where you might have put yourself or been put into separate boxes. So where are you stuck? Are you stuck in light? Are you people pleasing? Are you afraid to disappoint anybody? Are you overgiving? Are you stuck in dark? Are you hyper independent, afraid to ask for help, mistrustful of other people to like an insane degree? Are you constantly like trying to protect yourself? You can't let anybody hurt you. You can't let anybody get close to you. Or are you stuck in wild, which, as we've talked about in the previous episode, can mean 2 different things. You're either in the cage or you're dancing on the table. Neither are ideal. So you feel trapped by routines. You feel like running away. You numb yourself with distractions, and you struggle to follow through with anything, right? So where is your wild? And maybe all 3 points, there's something wrong, right? Probably there is. Don't feel bad if there is. It's just identifying that and then following the steps we gave you in earlier episodes. And as we've said before, none of this is an overnight operation. You're not going to watch this episode and magically be fixed. You're not going to fix your wild.
God, I wish that was
so nice.
I wish it was like that.
Yeah. But once you have the tools in your tool belt and you rebuild your scale, repairs can be made, and you can continue working on building the foundation and the metaphors.
There's so many construction metaphors right there.
So many construction metaphors right there. When I plan out my weeks, I will sit down and I will literally identify which activities are light, which activities like need dark, and which activities require wild. And I will be like, okay, so this sister, this girl, this energy gets to come out and play at these times. And sometimes 2 energies get to play together. And I just try to like create that awful word, which is balance. I try to create, are you just listening to me? I try to create the balance a little bit every day, or I try to hit it throughout my week.
Yeah. That sounds very Virgo of you.
It's very Virgo.
It's so Virgo of you. This is my schedule. Where do I need to implement these specific traits? Whereas I'm like, I'm literally today, I'm going to be a little dark femme.
Yeah. And you can also, cycle sync it.
Right? Yeah.
Cycle sync it.
Yeah. I am literally today. Or so one thing that's really helps me with what kind of energies I need to pull and when, sort of thing, is my human design. So I have the generator. I have to listen to my gut instincts, and if I feel like that spark of fuck yeah, then I need to go with that. And then the energies behind that fuck yeah just kind of like follow through. I have a lot more of like a loosey-goosey to when to pull what energies and whatnot.
I wouldn't say loosey-goosey. It's more intuitive. You just follow.
I guess. Yeah. It is more intuitive. Loosey-goosey.
Yeah. And that's great for you. And I love that for you. Could never be me. What do you mean?
I know.
couldn't
That's why I was saying, I was like, yours is so much more structured.
Yeah.
And mine is very Sagittarius.
Yeah. And that makes sense.
Yeah.
It makes sense for
Right.
us. Interesting. Mm-hmm. And I think too, like, everybody's a little bit different, right? We have our big threes are in different places. Mm-hmm. And that is very aligned with how your Sacred Femme archetypes show up in your big three versus how mine do. Yes. Right? Yeah. Like my dark is not where your dark is. No. My light, vice versa. So we have to find our own personal polarities and our own ways of interpreting these.
For me, knowing the energies behind my big three also helps with the Sacred Femme energies. So it helps me to discern what to use.
I think too that our personal polarities, you're more heavily weighted towards light and I am more heavily weighted towards dark. Like our traumas come from those places. So we have different healing paths and we have different things to grow through. Like my wild on table, your wild in cage.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So that interprets how
I understand now.
Yeah. How we react to this information. And like when we go through our wounds and our lists and things, right? Like some things we do have overlap because we're women in 2025.
Yep.
But we had different parents, we had different childhoods, we had different experiences in our teen years and all of those things. So what applies to me obviously does not work for you. What works for you will not work for me. Or there will
works be for us, might not work for them.
Right, exactly. So it is very much a process of trial and error and elimination and trying again. So yeah, you don't need to sit down on Sunday night and figure out on 3 p.m. on Tuesday, I'm going to be late this week. Like, you don't have to do that.
Yeah.
That's just what works for me.
As much as I love schedules, that sounds too much for me.
See, but I have to do it.
Well, yeah, nothing wrong with that. I'm saying it's too much for me.
Yes. And it was a lot.
You.
I'm going to show you my planner later. You'll be like, Jesus.
I already saw your planner. It's a mess.
Oh, no. Just wait.
Okay.
I literally had, like, this day is light and dark, and these are my affirmations for this day. Like, it's insanity. But my point of bringing that up was I don't do that anymore. I did it for, like, 2 months.
Okay.
And now, like, if I'm having, like, a really busy week, I'll probably do it for next week.
Sure.
But I just, like, know.
You figured it out.
I figured it
out. It's, like, in your body?
Yeah. So, do what you need to do to get through until you can feel the embodiment a little bit better.
Yeah. Okay, so it's one thing that's helped me through my healing journeys and stuff is that sometimes when you say, like, affirmations, like, I am confident, it feels really forceful sort of thing. So I like to put in, like, an ing word. So, like, I am learning to be confident. This one thing that I wrote down was balance exists within me. Hard to believe, right? And I'm always evolving. So you're always learning, you're always changing and growing. Every day is going to be slightly different, and that's okay, right? Like, be graceful with yourself, move forward, keep doing your best.
We were earlier talking about departments and, like, how you and I have separate departments in, like, the things that we research and the things that we know about, the things we speak about on here. So try to think of, here's another metaphor, if the tool belt or the scale didn't work for you, here's a new one. Try to think of your Sacred Femme as this beautiful, tall office building, okay? And then there's different levels, and there's different floors and different departments that run a business. So your light would be one department, dark would be one department, wild would be another department, and it all works together to create the corporation.
Sacred Femme Inc.
Sacred Femme Inc. Oh my God! Does that work better for those of you who didn't like it?
I really like that one.
I like that one.
I like that one.
Yeah.
This office looks really pretty in my head. And all of the floors, okay, hang on, we're going to take it further.
Okay.
All of the floors are, like, the different departments. So you've got wild, which is full of, like, green and, like, plants everywhere. And light femme is, like, this bright white, very, like, clean and crisp.
Yeah.
And then dark is kind of, like, a little bit moody.
Leathered sofas.
It's got low lighting.
And I'm just, like, thinking of, like, just going farther. I'm just thinking about, like, the music that would play on the separate floors. Yeah. And then, like, the penthouse floor, like, that's where the queen lives, right? Like, that's where
you.
Yeah. That's, like, the sacred feminine energy. And, like, we're all blah, blah,
Yeah.
I
picture myself, black dress, red heels, curly hair, feet up on the desk.
Yes! With plants.
And low lighting.
Yeah.
And clean white desk.
Yeah. all together.
I love this office analogy.
We need to draw this or something. I don't know. But yeah, can you draw it?
Maybe. You give it a try.
Yeah. She's the illustrator.
That was fun.
That was good. I like that. Okay, thanks for coming on that journey with us. So in conclusion, Sacred Femme is an equation. It is your light, your wild, and your dark all put together. How whatever metaphor you want to use, whichever one speaks to you. If you have a different example, share it with us. We would love to hear your metaphors, your analogies, and all those things. But really, it is just understanding that it is the mending of all three to become the more, the greater. Maybe another way to think about it, if math is not your thing, is like a recipe. Put all the things in a bowl.
Yes.
Delicious cake.
A 1-to-1 ratio.
Yeah.
Or depending on who you are, you might have different ratios. So you might have like dark and or
2 cups.
two parts. 2 parts.
2
is
parts.
The word I'm looking for. So 2 parts dark and 1 part light and 1 part wild. Well, whatever. But to me, basically, light plus dark plus wild equals sacred.
Yes.
Like that is the most basic gist of it as you can get.
Yeah. So just remember that, like, Sacred Femme is the woman, is the person, is the whatever energy, who remembers she was never meant to be divided, right? It happened. We can't change the past. We can only change the future, how we react to it, how we grow and move through it. And that concludes our little mini series about Sacred Femme and the aspects of Sacred Femme on all of these little wild, light, and dark and things like that. Thank you for joining the conversation over the mini series and today especially. This was really good for both of us.
Yeah,
it
was great,
and we hope it's good for you too.
Yeah.
If you have anything to share, we would love to hear your thoughts about any and all of it, and we will continue to dive deeper into topics like this in the future. So let us know what you want to know.
You can find us on all platforms at the Energy Within podcast. And our next episode, now that this series has concluded, we're going to jump back to our other one, the menstrual cycle, ovulation, which is the best.
Yes.
Most fun, most freeing.
There was one time,
Face.
This was a couple months ago, where we were both ovulating at the same time.
Yeah.
It was unhinged behavior.
Oh my god, we were wild.
That was a wacky day.
We were wild.
Yeah, it's funny.
Oh, so good. But also ovulation is one of the most important aspects of it. So a lot of people think that the menstrual cycle is like the point, but it's ovulation.
Yeah,
ovulation is the point, and everything kind of circles around that. So we'll get more into that next time.
The sciencey thingies.
You're
gonna hear us say we are not a doctor a lot, but
nope.
But we're here to teach you what we know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you so much again for watching, and we hope that you see your energy and your power today.